two.
Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can also find our other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Full Show podcasts or Miguel and Holly Queen City Confessions or Blown Off on any podcasting platform. Just type in Miguel and Holly and please leave us a 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Kelvin, I forgot, what time do you need to leave?
Like 10:40-ish.
Okay, so we got time.
Yeah.
We got time.
We be yapping.
How are you white balancing your camera?
Yes, I am. There we go.
There you go. So what's going on with everybody? I came with no agenda today.
Ooh, a no agenda podcast.
Chit chat.
Nope. Mitch always got a topic.
No, there isn't a topic, but we did need to address because we were saying we wanted to get 9 Lives Jesse on, but producer Kelvin, you reached out to her and she cannot join us today, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
She's had some
she's had it rough, quite rough.
Well, when hasn't this woman had it rough? She died thrice.
right. So before you go ahead, Kelvin. Well, I was gonna say before you give us the update, just in case someone skipped the previous podcast, Holly, who is 9 Lives Jesse?
She was just a contestant for the Holly Jolly lyric game on the air. That's all.
Yeah.
And we were just like, do you think you're going to know the lyrics? And she was like, well, I don't know. My brain's a little foggy after I died 3 times. And we were like, I'm sorry, what now?
What?
And she went on to say that she had some sort of tragic sleepwalking accident. That's, I guess, the second crazy thing after dying 3 times. Then after that, which would have been enough on its own. Right. Then she was like, well, I actually only died twice. But then this other woman named Debbie killed me the 3rd time. And I woke up and punched her in the face. I don't even know. I can't even remember.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
So it went something like that. And we were just, it was like blow after blow after blow of like a shocking sequence of events that happened to this poor woman. Yeah. So we were on the air live and we had to do something with it. So we didn't get the full story, but we said we wanted to get her on the podcast so she could explain what on earth happened for her to die 3 times and still be living. So we call her 9 Lives Jesse.
And so, Kelvin, you reached out to 9 Lives Jesse, and she was supposed to join us today, right?
She was. She didn't actually answer me yesterday, but I left a voicemail, even though I usually don't leave voicemails. But I was like, you know what? Let me do it for this. And so she had called today while we were in the middle of Queen City Confessions. And I picked it up and she was like, hey, I just saw your voicemail. Thank you so much. Like that actually brought a smile to my face. The fact that I heard that so many people liked the video and enjoyed it. She was like, yes, I would be down to get on the podcast. I would love to. She was like, I'll be able to curse. However, one of my friends were injured in a shooting and the other one died.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I hope you're okay. She was like, yeah. She was like, I would normally do it, but I look like shit because I've been crying all night. And I was like,
I mean, this just happened?
This just happened. There was a shooting in Rock Hill, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
That involved 2 of her friends?
2 of her friends. She said she was supposed to go. She was like, I guess I got 5 lives now. And I was like,
oh my gosh. She was supposed to be there?
Yes, that's what she said. She said, I was gonna go.
Oh my god.
She had a sense of humor about it.
Right.
I don't know how many times this woman can evade death, truly.
9. Literally 9.
But
that was her 6th life, though. So
to have
about 5 right now.
All these stories and then not be able to come on because of some other insane story. I mean, obviously, I'm so sorry about her friend, but
seriously. Ugh.
Yeah.
What?
Wow. All right. Well, we're sending her some love. I don't know if she listens to the podcast yet, but if you are 9 Lives Jesse, we are sending you some hugs.
She said she'd be willing to do it next week, though.
Okay. All right. Well, she's got either Monday or Wednesday because the next Friday will be out in the cold on a bus.
Yeah.
So by the way, for next week, just gearing you up, we will not have a podcast next Friday because we're doing Stuff-A-Bus to raise toys for kids here in the Queen City.
Mhm.
So just put that on your docket for next week. All right, so we'll hopefully have 9 Lives Jesse on next week. But otherwise, how has everyone been this week, Holly?
I think I have PMS this week.
Oh,
Which I hate because it's actually been a while since I've felt this way, which is great because that means my antidepressant is working. Right?
Mhm.
So I'm on an antidepressant, and it changed a lot of stuff for me, which I thought was really good. A lot of good things came from it. And I upped it a little bit from my, like, they start you on a low dose, and I got to the level that I think is good for me. So that means that I was like, I haven't really had these wacky PMS symptoms, which is why I got on it in the first place. Because like half the month I would be like, I'm doing okay. I'm not great, but like I'm okay. And then the other half of the month I'd be like, not well, not very good.
Mhm.
And it was just brutal. Like when your own mind is just making you think these horrific things about yourself, and like you shouldn't be here, and people hate you, and like, oh God, it's just not good. So it really helps with that. But then I think I was supposed to get my period. Like, hey, welcome to it. This is TMI podcast.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
right. That's what we
Supposed to
do.
get my period a week ago, and it didn't come. And that can happen because I have an IUD, which is a form of birth control. And sometimes it's either it takes it away totally, your period, or it's very light or whatever. But I had been having one regularly until this past week. So I think not having it has like backed up my emotions, if you will. Like nothing got flushed out. So I think that's what causes sometimes my PMS or PMDD, as I think it might be, to get bad. And so this week has been a little bit rocky for me. And that's why I realized it, I think on like Tuesday or Wednesday, because I was extra emotional. I don't remember what I cried about on Tuesday, or I haven't cried about Tuesday, but like I was extra sensitive. Well, there was also yesterday I cried.
Yes. Oh,
I'll tell you about that. But like, one of the things what happened?
it was the party, remember?
It was, but I mean, this was earlier than the party.
Oh.
I'm going to talk about the party because
Okay.
that's another thing.
Mhm.
But something happened with Maya, maybe like on Tuesday or Wednesday, where I just felt like I know what it was. It has a little bit to do with Christmas magic, a little bit. So I don't know if we talk about that on this podcast or not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I will say, if you have little kids listening, this would not be the time. Well, first off, why would you have kids listening to this podcast?
Correct.
So actually, let's go there. So hold
Say
on.
bad words on here.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to do this because there needs to be a space where you can talk about this sort of thing openly.
I agree.
No kids should be listening. I'm putting this on the banner.
Generally.
Oh,
Generally,
this
but
is if they're-
especially.
this
That's
is
what
if
it should
they're
say.
viewing, but if they're listening on just the podcast, they don't see it, but it says no kids to be listening.
We'll
Hold
put it
on.
in the title, right?
Watching. Wait, no kids should be watching. There you go. So if
watching.
you're looking on YouTube, there you go. No kids should be watching
Okay.
or listening. We're talking
Yeah.
about the magic of Christmas.
The magic of
Yes,
Christmas.
The magic.
If we all are on the same page here.
I hope we are. So
Which,
what happened?
by the way,
oh,
sorry.
Yes. No.
I was just going to say, I never in my life knew that there was so much care and concern about talking about the quote unquote magic of Christmas until working with Holly.
Oh, 100%. My God.
I was always like, yeah, girl, you know the truth.
Can we talk about that one time I almost fucked it up?
when?
Oh, thank God you don't remember. The one time, so I was reading you guys one of my game board cards that I had won from
Now
the
I
voting
vaguely
game.
remember. Now I vaguely
And my
remember.
first card that I was just sharing because I thought was so funny. It my friends had voted right in a question form game, and it said who most likely here is most likely to believe in Santa the longest. And I was like, haha, guys, I got that card. And Holly was like, and then I was like, what? And then I was like, whatever, let me continue. And then I kept reading off the cards. And then when the break ended, Holly was like, we need to get out. We need to grab the bag. We need to get out. We need to get out of this radio show. We need to leave. And she was doing the absolute most. But honestly, it was very valid. It wasn't, but it was the way that you were reacting. I was like, girl, you're doing the most. but it was true. Like, it was a thing I should have never said.
Warranted, because
Super warranted.
if like that was, I don't
You
even
were
know what time it would have
shaking.
been, but like if I could just imagine a parent in the car just taking their carload of small children, and then you say that and everyone starts to be like, wait, what? And I'm just like, ah! I'm like melting
You
because
were melting.
I know the level of oh shitness that parent would have gone through.
For
And
sure.
thankfully, I don't think we got any flack about
There
it.
was no school that day.
That's right.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
That's
right.
what it was. Jesus. Thank God. Thank God.
Look, she's shaking again.
Like, you understand, I'm pretty good about it, but I got shit the last year that we were in Tampa because I had said on the air, who tries to be careful about this sort of thing.
Right.
I said that Santa had brought Maya a scooter or something. That's all I said. Some woman put me on blast in a mom's group on Facebook
right.
for like
You told us.
thousands of women
Mhm.
because how dare I say that Santa brings something as expensive as a scooter? Like, so if I can be dragged for that, and I mean, people were telling me, they're like, this woman is dragging you on this mom's group. Like, it was bad.
Were
It was
people
really
like in the
bad.
comments dragging you as well, or were people
Half
being
of them were and half of them were not.
right? Because it's like, how do
because-
you know? Like
Right.
that could literally be anything. And I feel like you could explain it away and be like, oh, well, you know, if her daughter heard that on the radio that morning and it's like, why doesn't Santa bring me a scooter? Be like, well, how often would you actually, there's a creative way to talk
There is.
around it.
But obviously this mom was so upset that she basically said that I was the reason that now her daughter doesn't believe anymore. And so like you do not want to fuck around with this.
Do you know one of my I'm gonna write this down. What grinds my gears is
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm really
I
getting to
love
the point
this.
in life now that people that blame others for misfortunes that's not super warranted, as the older I get, the more it pisses me off. Where I'm like, you're going to sit here in a public forum and shame a radio personality for telling her truth when you have absolute control over how your daughter receives that information.
Correct.
Like that stuff like that, as the older I get, the less patience I have for things like that.
because it wasn't like I said what Kelvin said.
Right. If you were like, girl, I'm rich on the radio and I got a good connect with Santa and only my white daughter gets a scoot, like, okay, then that woman has every justification to be mad at you. But like,
It's
Anyway.
rooted in misery.
yes.
Poor thing. She's not
I
happy
know.
with her life or
No.
what she's
And
able to
I-
provide maybe for her daughter. It could be
Right.
that.
Which is understandable, which should be frustrating and
Mhm.
should be and you should feel all the feelings, but you're targeting the wrong person for it.
Right.
Yeah. And well, it's easy to point the finger of blame when you're upset because it's got to be someone else's fault. And
Right.
so it was my fault. And I messaged that woman and I apologized.
Oh, you
and
did?
I did. I don't remember ever what came of it. I don't know if she ever even received it. I don't know if she blocked me. I don't remember. I think I was trying to be like, listen, there is a way around this. Like you could have said XYZ. And I don't think she ever replied. I think that's what happened.
She probably got embarrassed because you actually replied back and she was like,
Yeah. That's another thing too. When people like to buck at us or about us on the internet, and then when we actually write back to them, I usually am the one most likely to buck if it's warranted.
Mm.
But I have learned through the Miguel and Holly lens is that you can kill them with kindness.
mhm.
And I did that one time when somebody came for me about like bitching about my dog who like did something probably horrible and I was venting about it.
Yes, you're
And
allowed to.
and I'm allowed to. And I wrote back in a very kind way and they never wrote back after
Yeah.
writing this scathing paragraphs about
Yeah.
me. So
That's because they felt
Yeah.
bad.
mhm.
Anyway, so Holly, I interrupted your story. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
okay. Well, we went on a whole tangent.
Yeah.
And I have another thing to say about Santa in just a minute. But
Mm.
anyway, so what happened was, so I feel so awkward talking about this in public, but all right, let's go. No kids should be watching again. So, Elf on the Shelf. Okay. We do Elf on the Shelf. It started when Maya was 3 years old and Maya knows the truth about Santa now. I told her when she was in, what was it? It was in when she was ending 4th grade and going to be going into 5th grade.
Mm.
Because I just knew, like in 5th grade, that's when probably half the kids know and half the kids don't.
Right.
And you get the kids that have to be a dick and be like, did you know about Santa? Like, I don't know what parents are out here not strictly like choking the shit out of their kids to be like, don't say nothing. I just feel like some parents just want to watch the world burn or whatever. And that's how their kids are. Because that's how I found out. I found out in 3rd grade when I was 8 because of a kid at school. And so I didn't want Maya to find out that way. And also I didn't want her to like have any embarrassment. And I always want to keep open communication with her. So I'm like, I always want her to think that I'm going to tell her the truth about life, no matter what it is. And like, it to me, I was like, she's going to get it ruined this year if we don't have this conversation. Of course, she was very upset. But you know, I had a great fallback plan because, you know, you have time to prep for this. If you're a parent and you do Santa, then you have time, even when they're small, to like research how you're going to explain this. And there is a great explanation, which is that Santa and the magic of Christmas is truly real because you get to provide that magic to someone else. And even when you're a kid, you know, you can do that for, like, I explained it, like, think about the little old ladies at the grocery store that are checking out, that when you're small are like, what did Santa bring you? Because the whole world is in on it. The whole world wants to see, like, this is weirdly one part of humanity that I love that we all are kind of in on. It's like the magic of keeping like a spirit alive. And that's what Santa is. It's this beautiful spirit of giving and kindness. And so we went into this whole thing. You can find like lots of stuff online that can line up with how you want to do it or whatever. So anyway, she knows. Having said that, she's then, you know, was like, but like, am I still going to get presents? Like, is Elsie going to come? Elsie's our elf. And I was like, oh, yes. Oh, just you wait. Because I still want to make it beautiful for her. And so I had to call her dad too. And I was like, here's what happened. He was pissed at me, which I didn't realize that he would be, but he's like, you didn't tell me you were going to do that. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I apologized to him. And all I could say was, I'm sorry, because I didn't think or know that he would want to be in on that.
That surprises me.
Right.
I know.
I mean, I haven't talked to him in years, so I don't know where he is in life now. But just from what I do know of him, I'm surprised that he didn't do it on his own as a joke. So that's surprising to me.
My
right.
God. I like, so yeah, there's always a surprise at every turn. Who knows? And so anyway, I apologize for that. But I was like, please, even though she knows, please keep doing what we're doing. You know, she knows, but it's still fun. And even though we're kind of like, I still gotta come up with places for the elf for the entire month of December now, still. She loves it. And I realized, actually, as a quick side tangent, when we were doing our first radiothon at the Children's Hospital a couple of years ago, they had an elf in the Seacrest Studios in Levine Children's Hospital. We came in that day. I'm like, oh, there's their elf, you know, cute. We came back in the next day and we had been there late. We stayed there until 7 p.m. Probably didn't get out of there till 7:30. We were there at probably 5:30 the next morning. The elf was in a new spot. As an adult, as a grown-up, I was like, oh, the elf moved. Like, I get it. Right. I get it, right? So we do it. Elf just started. Our elf comes on December 1st. Still, even though she knows, even though she's now in 6th grade, Elsie comes. And she's even a little bit like, she's like, was going to be at her dad's house this week, the weekend of December 1st. And she's like, does he know that Elsie's coming? And I was like, of course he knows. Meanwhile, I'm on my phone. I'm like, do you know that Elsie is coming on December 1st? I just want you to make you aware. And so he's like, I got it. Elsie came. That was on like I think December 1st was a Sunday. December 2nd was a Monday. And she's back at my house. So all weekend, I'm like, I should get Elsie and put her out. I should do this because I'm going to forget. No, I won't. I'll remember. Who would forget this? It's the start of the season. I forgot it. So December 2nd comes around Monday and her dad is taking her to school. I am picking her up from school and I get to the car line. I have other kids in the car that day too, because I'm a carpooler. So we all get in the car and I'm like, oh my gosh, how was everything? How was dad's house this weekend? You know, blah, blah, blah. We're just chit chatting. She goes, good. Elsie was back in a little airplane. And I was like, oh. I lost my mind. My heart started beating out of my chest. I grabbed my phone. I'm like, oh, that's so fun. And I opened a text message to my fiance. And I wish I could scroll back and show you in all caps. I just go, help, Elsie!
Oh, God.
I'm screaming through text at him, and it says delivered because we have our read receipts on, not read. And I was like,
oh
because
no.
he's at home and I've got about 15 to 20 minutes before I get home, and she realizes Elsie's not there, and I'm having almost a panic attack, knowing that she knows, but knowing she will be let down.
Right, she's depending on you.
Mom, like, come on, even Dad, come on. Like, so I'm like, oh my. So I text my fiance again. I texted him like 5 times in a row, all caps, all caps, all caps. I'm like, please, Elsie, emergency. This is an emergency. Now I start calling him, and I'm like, I just have to call him. Something about dinner. I'm calling, and he's not answering. And I'm like, he's in the shower or something. I am panicked. Finally, I'm calling, and the other kids are like, I mean, I don't think he's answering the phone. And I'm like, I know, I just gotta tell someone about dinner. I'm like losing my shit, clearly. But they're talking about other things, so I think I'm getting away with it. He calls me back, and I'm like, hey, hi, did you get my text messages? No big deal. Just about dinner. Just real quick. He's like, I haven't looked. I was in the shower. Let me see. Oh, I'm like, yeah. So if you could just take just about dinner, just
take the chicken out.
Chicken. And he's like, got it. I got it. I'm like, okay, good. So I'm like, oh, I got it. No worries. So I drop the other kids off at their house. They live right around the corner, and I drive to our driveway, and Maya goes, I saw what you were texting.
Oh, how did she see that?
Oh, that sneaky bee. She knew. She knew.
This little girl, do you know how many times I've told her, do not look over my shoulder while I'm texting? Because she will. She's sneaky. She will
I hate
look.
when people do that.
I hate it too.
Hate
and
it.
she often will see shit she's not supposed to see. I've told her that multiple times. So now, not only am I crushed, defeated, pissed off a little bit because I've told her not to do that, and I'm just like,
she got your ass.
I don't know what you mean. She was like, I saw, and I'm just like,
head ass.
Like, I just felt like, so keep in mind, way back to the beginning of this 20-minute story now, that didn't need to be 20 minutes. I have PMS. I now feel like I have failed as a mother. I don't have that many Christmases with her as a child.
Oh,
I have failed. And I just went into my own like little shell. So she gets out of the car, like she's just like whatever. But obviously Elsie is there, and I didn't even want to say anything because I would have been like, "Is Elsie here?" And we all play along, but she already knew. So I walk in the door, and my fiance is like, "Look who's!" And I'm like, "Don't, just don't, just." And he's like, "What?" I'm like,
he's like so proud of himself. He's like, I answered the call. The red phone rang. I picked it up. I did my stepdad duties. I got it ready to go. And I'm here to usher in the magic of the season.
Just imagine you coming in, just like ripping everything off. Like, shut it down.
Like, she came in, and he's like, how was Dad's house? Look who's in. I'm just like,
you're like, no.
And he's like, what? And I'm just like, oh, so then something else also happened that day. I don't remember what it was, but I wish I could remember the other thing, but it just suffice to say there was some other thing. So she goes in her room to start, changing into her after school clothes. And I just sit down, and he's like, what is going on? I'm like, she saw the text. She saw the text. And then also I said this, and she was upset, whatever it was. And he's like, okay, well, then he got mad on my behalf. He's like, life happens. And I'm like, no, this is not the time for that. So anyway, I was very upset. And I thought to myself, am I being irrationally upset about this? Or is this a reason for me to be very upset with myself? And I thought a little bit of both at the first time. Then to get to your part, Kelvin, yesterday or the day before, our work at iHeart Tampa had a Christmas client party, and it's festive as all hell here. It's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And there's all these clients in the Tampa Bay area that are coming in. And Miguel, I had mentioned it to Miguel and Kelvin right as we were leaving. And Miguel's like, oh, you should say hi. Some of those people probably know you. And I was like, I should. And then I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I started to get like hyperventilating about it because I don't know what to say or who to talk to, or I have no one to go around with. And then I get like nervous and I don't know if I'm going to recognize people. And what if they recognize me, or what if I know who they are, but I don't know their name or where they're from. And I just start like panicking. So I walk past a couple of people that I do know, and they're like, hey, and the one guy that I don't see very often was like, oh, hey, nice to see you. And I was like, I went in the bathroom, peed, and just ran out the door. And then I got into the car and I started bawling. I just started sobbing, like that kind. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. Get home. Fiance's like, are you? Later on in the day, he's like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I can't do it. He's like, maybe this is something to talk about in therapy. And I'm like, no, I know what it is. I don't need to talk about it in therapy. That was the night that I was like, maybe I'm having some PMS.
Yeah.
Well, what did make you cry about that?
Is it the social anxiety?
It's
Or
the
is
social
it-
part of it. It's a couple
Yeah.
things. It's a couple things. One of them is like I know the on-air people here.
Mm-hmm.
I know them, like the people that do shows. I don't know the salespeople, and I feel like I should.
Mm.
And I always have felt weird coming across the street as like, I used to be the competition. Now I'm working here. I try to be like, company oriented. I wear iHeart stuff all the time. And I do have some friends, but they already have their friends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to like integrate myself into this workspace. It's way different in Charlotte because like I work there.
Right.
Here,
And they're
I'm
excited to see you too, because
Yes.
Yeah.
They I know everybody. I know everybody's names, faces, whatever. These salespeople and stuff, I don't know who's who. Are you an AE? Are you a sales
are you
manager?
a PD?
Are you a PD? Do you work in programming?
Right.
Do you even work here? I don't know. And I don't have anybody
make-
with me.
You
like,
make friends with like the random vendor that they asked to just stay
Yes.
by.
yes.
He's like, well, I
yes.
gotta go. And
He's
you're
like, I'm actually dropping off the
"Oh."
snacks for the vending machine, but
That
it's
has
so
happened
nice to meet you.
You laugh, but like that happened in the elevator one time. Like I tried to go out of my comfort zone and be like, oh, so what do you do here? And they were like, oh, I'm just helping out with this something. And I was like,
We're like, it's so great to meet you. Thank you.
thank you. I'm really
So glad we're
Seeing you
coworkers.
again.
happy to be here. I'm just a client. I'm a client. Oh yeah.
You do have it harder over there being solo.
And so I was like, I wanted to walk around, but the dynamics of it, I was like, where do I walk to? What do I do with my hands?
Mhm.
I have to just have like a fake smile on my face and be like,
Hey.
Hey.
no, not me. Okay. And I like, who do I go up to? Because I don't know the salesperson. I don't know the client. I could go say hi to maybe like Scott that works on 98 Rock. I could go say hi to him for a minute, but he's got to talk to his clients too, or his people that he works with. So he's not going to babysit me for this time. And so it's all of that combined with another couple thing, like my, some other stuff that I have, whatever that. And so all of it tied in a big bow. I'm just like, I can't do this. And I beat myself up because I know I should. Because you would, Miguel, you would do it. You
Right.
could do it, and I can't do it. And so I just lost my shit. So anyway, and then I was having the PMS. So that's been my week. It's been a little rough. And then I start to feel like, what am I even doing here? I'm not good at my job. I started this familiar, like,
the saboteur.
yeah,
The
feeling
inner
worthless,
saboteur.
feeling like
Mhm.
nobody really likes me, feeling like I don't really have, that kind of thing. And so I was either waiting on my damn period to come, please, because it always clears up right as soon as my period comes, or for it to just fade into oblivion and let me get on with my life. So that's the first time since I've been on the antidepressant that kind of broke through it. And I guarantee it's probably period related. So
I mean, I will say, yes, would I do it? Yes, but I wouldn't be like walk up to, because like we had ours last night here in Charlotte, and like I didn't go talk to random people, and like our promotions marketing person Angelique was like, go talk to these people from this brewery because we want to do stuff with them. And I'm like, are you going to introduce me? And then she just like walked off, and I was like, okay. So
what do you say? Like,
Right.
it's so awkward because at least like you work for a radio station there too. Like,
right.
if people are like, oh, what do you do? Then I have to get into like, I don't actually work here. My show used to be, well, with Charlotte, but it's in my studios, and then they're like, well, why am I talking? I don't know.
Right. I
So,
feel like it's an automatic tune out. Like, oh, you're not even in this market.
Right.
No. Okay.
Really. But Tommy Chuck is so nice. And so
Mhm.
he popped his head in yesterday to say hi. And I told him, because I am going to the Christmas party tonight.
Oh, so you're going to be rubbing elbows with the Joe Show.
Yes. Yes.
Allie
Laura
and AJ.
Brody.
Laura Brody and
Laura and Brody. No, Crash and AJ.
Crash and AJ.
That's what producer X Scotty is. And the guys on the sports station.
Scott Gorman.
Ryan
Gorman.
Dana
and
McKay.
Dana McKay. We know her. We worked with her back in the day.
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson.
Just keep saying names. The sports station guy, I think it's Pat and Aaron.
Scott McCormick.
You can't stop it.
Corny Diaz.
Corny Diaz. That sadly is like probably a name that somebody has already.
Todd Schnitt.
That is a real person.
That is, I know. I was just throwing out random
Anita Deck.
So so I'm going to that
Head of
tonight,
lettuce.
but I am bringing my friend
Tasha
Aaron.
Salad.
We're just saying drag queen names. No, we're just saying drag queen names.
Where is the next one? Don't say it.
I was like, I don't think I
say
should
it.
tell
Don't
you.
say it. Is it a restaurant or is it a bar?
It's an event space of sorts with
nice.
things to do.
Oh, wonderful.
They are having like a cocktail hour and then a dinner and then like a scavenger hunt, I think. So last year I was gonna go, but I had another get together with our old producer Scotty actually last year, and you can never pin him down. So I was like, I can't cancel that. So this year I was like, I want to make sure I go because I do think it's important to be visible here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We need to have a presence there. You are our Tampa Bay, even though we're not on there.
Right. I'm the Tampa Bay correspondent.
Absolutely.
And I do think it's important that the people in this building don't think that I'm a raging bitch, because that's probably what I look like by avoiding all of these events. And so I want to try to like at least be how you doing to the work people. Like the clients, that was too much for me. I truly couldn't do it.
Well, that's a lot because you can't help them with anything unless they want you to voice a commercial or something. But otherwise, you can't do anything radio wise for them in Tampa Bay.
No, I can't. And so tonight, though, should be good because then I can at least shore up some relationships with the people I do know.
Like with who?
Like with the one sales guy. He said that he was going to get you something and then.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to me?
I'm trying to.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. I need
name.
a check. Give me a check, girl.
Right? So he said he could like work cross markets or something. I saw him on Halloween last when I was dressed as Taylor Swift. So
good.
That was a little awkward. But anyway, I will go talk to him. I don't have to remember his name. I can just be like, hey. I think it's. No, I don't know what it is. And so this is what happens. I forget people's names. But anyway, so I'm going to go chit chat, have a couple of drinks, and I will have my support person. So
good. Go make a name for us in the Tampa Bay building.
Yeah, sorry I took up the whole podcast.
You're fine, girl.
Well, we didn't have anything else.
I'm about to say we got some digs in. Okay. Kelvin said he wanted to push down Scotty.
Oh, I didn't know.
I said pin down.
He wants to pin Scott
respectfully, down. Monica. I know you listening.
Oh,
respectfully, not disrespectfully.
Pin down.
Pin him down because you said you can't pin him down. I said I'd pin him down.
Oh,
he's just so cute, the little golden retriever.
We need to have him on the podcast. I feel like that's legal.
Is that legal?
Is it appropriate?
It is. We're not in Tampa.
I know, but would somebody in iHeart be like, not cool?
Because he's in a different company.
No, ain't nobody listening to our podcast. So
Trevor is.
I don't think he listens. The girl, he listens to the show. He ain't listening. Yeah, he ain't listening to this girl. No,
he's not trying to listen.
No. All right, we got to go. Kelvin has to go. We have to end the podcast early because Kelvin has to go.
Oh, please. We would have had 10 more minutes.
What's your appointment that you have to that we had to organize our whole podcast around, Kelvin?
Okay, so the true story.
Put your wine bottles down.
I always seem to forget that I have a haircut with my barber. So I forgot yesterday, and he texted me, and I was so grateful. But I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I could go now, but I'm 30 minutes away. And he was like, can you come tomorrow at 11? And I said, yes.
All right.
Listen, this is the second time that you didn't show up and you got a text.
This is about the second or third time.
Put it in your calendar. That's why you always put reminders. Anyway, You need to go. Kelvin, how can people find you on social media?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow me. I lost a bunch of followers after the election, but hey, if you are over that, follow me. Follow me back.
Okay. What? Yeah. Radio Holly on all the things, you know.
Mine is at Miguel Fuller. I took Kelvin's advice and scheduled my cruise reel, sort of recounting what happened.
Yes.
And it flopped. And I spent so much time.
What time did you post?
6 o'clock.
Damn.
And it flopped.
Oh, no. Can you take it down and repost it?
I might. And I normally wouldn't, but I spent a lot of time on it. And I want people people ask me about cruises all the time. And I'm like, look at this. So
Did you
anyway.
use hashtags?
Maybe it was a tile.
Maybe. I don't know.
My Spanish came out. Maybe it's a tile. Sorry.
Mi gente.
Spell socks.
You can go please look at my cruise reel. It flopped. At Miguel Fuller. We will see you all on Monday. Bye. Oh.
Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.